Hey, welcome to video 3, where we talk about why founders have to own sales first. So let me be very clear. If you're a founder and you outsource the sales function too early, you're outsourcing your understanding, and that's really dangerous. So we talked about that a little bit already, but you can delegate tasks. You cannot delegate learning. That's critical. So here's what happens when founders avoid sales because you're scared of it. You don't think you're good at it. You just want to hire somebody else that has a sales track record to take that fear off of your plate. They build things, they make things, they have features that nobody asked for in their product or service. They guess at pricing. They rely on assumptions they have about the market instead of evidence that they obtain through sales conversations. And they blame other people, marketing, customers when revenue stalls. Not because they're bad founders, just because they are disconnected from the client and the customer they're trying to serve because they haven't had those conversations. And that's why sales is so important. That's how you stay connected. So when you personally, as an entrepreneur, sell early and have those conversations, you gain 4 really important things. One, you learn what matters to your clients and your customers, what really matters, not what you think matters. Then you hear how they describe their problems because you're asking good questions. They're talking, you're listening. That's where confidence comes from. You understand the value that what you're doing, bringing, making, selling brings to those people. And then you will get direction on what to do and build next to serve those people. If you serve them well, sales comes in, money comes in, you can reinvest it, you can grow, things will be a lot easier. That feedback loop is priceless. So there's no report, no other person that will replace those real conversations that you yourself can have. So founders that sell develop instinct. Founders who do not sell, they're guessing. So quick story, I've done a few different types of businesses. Before I quit corporate America, I was moonlighting, meaning I was working a side hustle and also a full-time W-2 professional sales job. I could not violate a non-compete. So I was selling into law firms at the time. I had to sell med spas marketing. So I created an LLC. I created a website. It was med spa marketing. I knew nothing about medical spas. Never been to one, never spoken to one, never stepped foot in one, never even went to a med spa website. Why did I choose that though? They have a high propensity to spend. They're B2C. They sell to customers, and I can get to the decision maker easily, and they needed our services for SEO, search engine optimization. So I had no clients. I could not call somebody and say, hey, I'm the med spa expert, because I wasn't. So what did I do? First thing I did is I researched every single local med spa in Kansas City. And the first one I found was one called Holiday that's in Brookside. And I happened to know somebody that had recently gotten a job there because I looked at who their staff was. And then I called that person first and said, hey, who's the decision maker? And then I created a PDF that was like a white paper. I did some research on med spas and how I could try and solve their problems. And I did have to guess initially. And I said, hey, if you give me a chance to do your website, do your search engine optimization, I'll do it for you basically close to free at cost. I will not make any money off of this. I have a vested interest to make this kick a bunch of ass and get results because I would like to use you, I said this, as a case study that I can then take and share with other people that are not competitors and outside of Kansas City and other areas. Would you be willing to give me that opportunity, knowing the necessity I have to win for you and win for myself because the case study is so important to the growth of my business? And they said yes. Then I got my first case study, had those conversations with them, built a system, and then started going and just picking up the phone, literally cold calling med spas in other metros. I landed a giant multi-location med spa in Atlanta. Here's how I landed that one. This is a cool story. I called and left this owner, her name was Cassie, a message. Hey, my name is Will Palmer. I'm the owner of this company. I work exclusively with med spas, and I have this awesome case study of a client I work with that got a bunch of new leads from what we did. And if that's something that matters to you, I would love to share with you how we did that to see if that would make sense for your med spa. And even if it doesn't make sense, a lot of the clients I talk to learn how to grow. Would you be open to that? Give me a call. I mean, no one responds to voicemail. So I called every few days to get this person on the line. Got to be relentless. And finally I called and she answered. She goes, who is this? And I said, my name is Will Palmer. And she goes, and she thought I was somebody else. She was like, oh, hey, Will, this and that. And then she started like talking about a bunch of stuff that I had no idea what she was talking about. I was like, hey, Cassie, I think you're confusing me with somebody else. She goes, who are you? And I was like, well, I left you a message about marketing. She goes, you're the marketing guy? Oh my gosh. Timing is perfect, honestly. We happen to be needing to look at some of this stuff. I'm interested in what you said. I don't know anything about you guys. Why don't we schedule a call? All right. So the reason I share that is because I learned a lot about what was important to these people by having these conversations. Also, good chance to remind you, sales, it's a numbers game. Totally. I could call 30 potential clients and everyone says no because timing isn't right, or they just don't have any money, or they already work with a marketing vendor, until you find somebody that just happens to say timing is right. You just have to go through the numbers. Okay. So that's my story. It went a little long, but I think it's applicable because you have to start with sales. So shape your offer, shape your pricing, shape your messaging, shape your onboarding, shape how you hire from those conversations. Everything comes from listening to your customers. And if you master that first, you can help your entire team master that. Doesn't mean you sell forever. It just means you sell first. And you earn the right to delegate sales by doing it yourself long enough to understand who your customers are and why they buy. What objections do they have? What do they really care about, etc. So here's your challenge. If you're building something right now, have at least 5 real sales conversations yourself with people on the phone, on Zoom, in person, real conversations, because founders who avoid sales will build a fragile business built on assumptions. All right, in the next video, we'll talk about why customers should become your curriculum for learning. See you there.